evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan, we're at the Motor City Mad Mouth. We have seven of us tonight to get you the latest in sports coverage here. And we have our regular here, Marky Pilso. Welcome back to the big show, Marky.
Thanks, you. I am glad to be here.
And we
If
have.
I could have said that more enthusiastically. Yeah, go ahead.
I know you do. I don't worry about. I know what your enthusiasm is like. It's all good. And we have Bessemer Cities in the house. What do you got in your hand, Bessemer Cities? Computer? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's a thing that he goes on TikTok and mentors me on. Okay. Hey, listen, the guy's good. He shows me a lot of tricks. And we got Cody in the house. He'll be on tonight. He'll be on tomorrow for Sports Wrap.
How you doing?
And we have Cliff.
Hey, what's up?
And we have the Cats Man, otherwise known as the Antagonizer. And if you don't know he's an antagonizer, you will know tonight. Mark my word, and the Candy Woman is on as well. All right, let's get to it. Lots to cover here tonight. We're going to talk about the highest sports broadcaster salaries, okay? Get ready for this list. They get paid a lot of dough. Tom Brady at Fox Sports carries a price tag of $37.5 million per year. Charles Barkley, TNT, $21 million per year. Stephen A. Smith, who's louder than I am, I don't know, depends on what day of the week and how much caffeine you have, $20 million per year. Troy Aikman, ESPN, $18 million a year, not too bad. Tony Romo, fellow Dallas quarterback, $18 million per year with CBS. And we have a little Pat McAfee people, $17 million a year, ESPN. And you have Shaquille O'Neal with TNT, $15 million a year. And you have Joe Buck, $15 million per year. Let's go around the horn. Who's worth their money? We'll turn it over to Marky.
The ones that I think wouldn't be, I want to take the flip side. Forgive me here. Their money would be the color commentators, not because they do a poor job. Tony, I see Tony Romo, Troy Aikman, who you mentioned in there, but you tune in to watch the game. And I think you would be tuning in to watch just about any color commentator there would be. I know that Colin Cowherd once said that John Madden back in the day, that there was about a 10% increase in viewership on the games he broadcast. Of course, Madden usually was broadcasting the best games. So consider that. Was it Madden or was it the matchup? Obviously, I think that Brady's improved a lot. But you're tuning in to watch the teams, not necessarily hear him break down how to beat a 3-4 defense or something like that. For the rest of them, you are tuning in to hear them. Certainly, why would you watch him? Charles Barkley. I mean, you do that. ESPN now is Stephen A. Smith, for better or worse.
Right.
You've got a lot of these. Pat McAfee, obviously. I just said that the network was Smith, better or worse, but McAfee has, I think, in so many ways changed sports talk, and he's really brought the bro culture there. But he does a fantastically entertaining show, and I really, I do enjoy it. So I would say that if someone like a McAfee does earn their money, but the color commentators, not so much.
Okay.
No matter how good they do.
Okay, that's fair. I like it. Candy.
I think for the most part, if you are a fan of the sport, you are watching the sport and you're picking the game that you want to watch. Doesn't matter who's calling it. In fact, there have been times where, especially like on baseball, and I know you don't have a lot of baseball commentators on there, I would actually turn the sound off of the game and put the radio on because I like the radio commentators better than the TV. But when you're putting that list of it, I think there's something to be said for the non-casual fan or the person that doesn't really watch it. Maybe it be whoever or who doesn't know the game very well, that I think sometimes they do a good job of explaining it, especially some of the players from a player's perspective that you wouldn't normally get back in the day when you didn't have a lot of that. So I have to give kudos to them. And obviously it's entertainment. So they're going to get paid for entertaining us. And so do they get paid a lot of money? Absolutely. But
So
so
come on, Kenny, give me one or two names on the list. I don't need your commentary on the commentator. Really, seriously, really? Come on.
I mean, you expected that of Tom Brady. Let's face it, you expected him to get paid a lot of money.
It's
But
not
he
a
has
complicated question, Candy, for anybody. So give me
I
one or two,
enjoy
Candy.
Tom Brady, but should he be the highest paid sports guy? He's getting it because of his name. Let's face
Okay.
it. He's
All right.
Correct. He's won enough Super Bowls that everybody recognizes his name for it, MVP. So that's why he's making the money.
All right, so we have two Tom Brady's. I just want names off the question, okay? Let's go ahead and do what we got to do. So, Mark, you're saying Tom Brady. Candy, you're saying Tom Brady. All right, Bessemer City, can you get it right? I know you can. Give me a name or two.
One is Joe Buck. I love his commentary on baseball. You know, I hate when he had left Fox because they took him off of the World Series. But one thing for sure, my mom texts me any Monday throughout the fall and says it's a good day because I'm listening to Joe Buck and Tom Brady. Those are two voices that I just love. I mean, not Tom Brady and Troy Aikman. Those are two voices I just love call games. But I'm feel you too, Candy. Like now that, especially that I'm in this space of podcasting and talking sports, some games I watch and I turn this volume off just because I want my own opinions and I want to watch the game and evaluate it for myself. But I do get the value of people. I feel like we should get more of the Tom Brady breaking down the X's and O's because that's why you're getting $37 million a year. We want the insight of what people consider the greatest player of all time. But yeah, for me, it's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman together as a duo because it just makes me think of my mom and us watching football.
Well, that's good. I like it. Cody.
I'm going to agree with Tony on that. Like Joe Buck is just with football and his baseball calls as well. Like that one walk-off home run that St. Louis had where he said, we'll see you tomorrow night. I mean, it doesn't get as legendary as that. I've always enjoyed just hearing him. And like I said, he's a multi-sport guy. And with Pat McAfee coming up, like, I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but he is entertaining. And for someone that, was just a punter in football, he's really been, I would say like a lot of people have tuned into more sports because of him as well. Like he doesn't just talk about football. He's also like basketball. He's trying to get more people into hockey. He's trying to get everyone to follow every sport, not just football. So those would be my top two: is Joe Buck and Pat McAfee.
Like it. Okay, Cliff.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go with Joe Buck on that, but Tom Brady, no. He's there because he's Tom Brady. Awesome, greatest quarterback ever. Okay, I'm gonna give him his kudos. Super Bowl trophies, awesome. Does he know so? I'm just bored by him. I'm not impressed by what he does. Plain and simple. I'm not impressed by what he does. I don't like McAfee. I think he's obnoxious. He's a jerk. I know that's his thing. I know they're trying to make sports hipper and cooler and with it. I'm like, whatever. Plus he's doing WWE also as well. He's doing that thing too, which I'm fine with. You get paid to do stuff. They want you, but he's gonna do his thing. I'm not excited by him at all. I don't like the boring stuff, but I don't know. It's Joe Buck and none of them really. Those color commentators really did it for me. Any of them, I'm not really impressed. And I don't really need the color commentators. Yeah. I like my color commentators maybe because with the Mets. Yeah, where's the Mets at? I love he and Keith Hernandez. Okay, Keith Hernandez, he's off because he was a great first baseman. He was a general there, and he's just spot on with all his analysis because he knows exactly what's going on. Heck, they did it last night. He did it last night. They shouldn't be moving over there. Bouchette's going to go to right field. Boom. Next pitch went to right field.
But now we have a writing candidate in Keith Hernandez. Nice. Yeah. Good job for the plug. All right, that's all. I'll give you the writing candidate, and I'll turn over to Mr. Baseball himself, Eric Katz.
I mean, I've always liked Troy Aikman. I mean, he's been on TV for a long, long time. He's really good at it too. And I leave with a new understanding every time I see him break down a game, whether it be for Fox or ESPN these days. Not a Brady guy. I just don't care for him as a broadcaster. He's just there because he's a name. That's about it. And I'd say locally though, I'd probably say with the Yankees, I got Paul O'Neill who does it. I got Joe Girardi. I mean, those guys know what they're doing when it comes to broadcasting. And so, like, I like my local guys better than they do national, because national, I feel like all they do is pursue names, and you can't really hate on Pat McAfee because he's revolutionizing broadcasting. He is changing the game. He's trying to appeal to the other generation by making sports more hip. Doing more than just football. He's doing multiple sports. Heck, he's had Brewers manager Pat Murphy come on the show multiple times. But it's just a new level of broadcasting. That is what the other generation is. That's what appeals to them. And Pat McAfee fits that profile.
It should be said, I when I was writing the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, I did a story, and for the life of me, I can't remember his name, but McAfee went to Plum High School outside of Pittsburgh. And I was doing a story on the Plum kicker, because the Plum Mustangs seem to have the best kicker in the Whippeal in the Western Pennsylvania Interscholastic League. And it was really making a difference in the games that they played, this sort of thing. And so I did a story on him, and, how'd you get to be such a good kicker? Well, Pat McAfee came back to the high school. He's a great guy. He taught me so much. I think that speaks very well of McAfee.
He's great.
All right, here's who I have. I know I've known Joe Buck for a long time. I always put him on the list. But the wild cards are Charles Barkley. I love anybody that can bash the NBA the way he does and tells it like it is, and he's right. And then the other one I actually like is grown on me is Stephen A. Smith, because number one, we're both loud, and number two, we both back up what we talk about. And he produces his own content, and he also delivers it. So I always respect people that produce their own content and deliver it on the air and take control of what they have to do. Charles, I have no problem. I mean, the NBA is a league that to me is just awful, and he has every right to critique it the way he does. With Joe Buck, it's Joe Buck, and we'll go on from there. All right, let's continue on. Have a lot of topics to get to tonight. Michelle Obama compared watching ESPN to Real Housewives. All right, let's a rapid fire on this one. Marky, what are your thoughts about Michelle Obama talking about ESPN to Real Housewives?
I need to know a context where she's coming up with that. I'm trying to because first of all, look, I'm a guy. I haven't really watched Real Housewives. All right, I'm going to tell you, be they in Atlanta or Beverly Hills or Fargo, North Dakota, I haven't. I understand there have been some very. But the thing is, I usually think that Real Housewives are very beautiful women, usually, who are married to prominent people. And I'm just that's my understanding of Real Housewives. I am not an expert on this show. And it has very different locations that are thought to be glamorous throughout the country is the other thing that I'm, as I said, Beverly Hills, Atlanta has a good reputation, Miami, Gary, Indiana. Okay. I mean, all the great places. So that's my understanding. I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, I've got criticisms of ESPN, many critiques of them. Okay. But you want me to make a sexist comment? That's a comment that only a woman would make.
Oh, I like it, Marky. I'll tell you. You got Candy Evelyn's eyebrows raised. I'll say one thing.
I'm sorry, but guys don't watch Real Housewives of wherever.
Yeah, but you know what she's implying, don't you?
No, I have absolutely no idea.
I'm telling you what she's applying, okay? You don't know much about her. I don't watch that show either, so don't feel too bad. Because it really isn't something that I dig either. She's implying that these clowns over at ESPN argue like Real Housewives. That's all she's saying. Okay?
Well, that would be then. I think that's been said for a million years. I forget there was the comedy skit, but there was once where they were actually parroting the ESPN talk shows. And I don't know if you remember this skit. It was called Sports Screaming, where basically it would be like we're doing all this, but we're all talking at the same time until one of us just literally screams out into the air. And that was and I said, you know something? You're absolutely right there, because I've always thought those ESPN shows, be they Around the Horn or whatever, are unwatchable. I'm amazed PTI is still on the air. I mean, I remember when Larry King was singing his praises, that show's praises. That's a long time.
Okay, that's okay, Mark. I love your insight. Thanks for letting me out screaming about why is that. So to give you a little information from what I heard about the Real Housewives bickering because the other ones are yelling at each other. All they do at ESPN is yell and not research. We both know that. We're old school guys. All right, Candy, why did your I have to ask Candy Evelyn a question. Why did your eyes just perk up when Gary Indiana was brought up? Because obviously he struck a chord with you, didn't he?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Gary, Indiana is Gary, Indiana. Let's face it, that might be where the Chicago Bears build the stadium.
Yeah, right.
This is the hometown of Fred Williamson, who I remember talking to online and said, "You ever get back there?" The other thing is that they're the home of the South Shore Railcats, the independent minor league baseball team, and I used to work with Greg Taggart, who was their manager for many years up there in Gary and such. So I'm a little familiar with the sports scene there. Although I couldn't tell you what the high school standings are or something of that nature. But yeah,
All right, so Candy, what are your thoughts about her comparison to Real Housewives?
So she was kind of citing that the constant drama, the yelling, the interpersonal conflict between hosts remind her a lot of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And to be honest with you, you can see it because there are times that Stephen A. Smith is not like he yells. He doesn't agree with some of the other analysts, and they go at it. Let's face it. So is it the same? No, but it's all entertainment. They're both being paid to entertain the fans. So, and Stephen A. Smith gets paid very nicely to entertain us.
All right, Bessemer City, you in the house or what? You want to talk about this?
Yeah. So look, as somebody who.
All right, well, now he's in the dark. Okay, no camera, but that's okay. Hide behind this topic. It's okay.
No, wait. My camera shows is on. You can't see me?
Nope. Just a black screen.
A black screen, man.
What?
Yeah, what? That's okay. Give me your audio comments anyways, and if you figure it out, don't come back on.
Yeah, somebody who's watched smut TV with his girlfriend a lot, I get what she's saying. A lot of yelling. No one can get their point across because they're yelling at each other. They do, especially, it's just the debate take topics of sports nowadays. So now everybody wants to have the hot take. Everyone wants to argue about each other's hot take. The only difference between sometimes watching ESPN or First Take or even some of the shows on FS1 and Real Housewives is they don't throw drinks. That's literally the only difference. You get the yelling, you get the screaming. Oh, and you don't get the beeps from profanity. But I can get what she's saying with that. Let me figure out this.
Hey, Cody, what's your interpretation of it?
I mean, exact same thing as Tony is like. I can kind of see what she's saying. I'm more probably entertained with the ESPN people than I've never watched Real Housewives, so I wouldn't know anything about that. I know my wife has watched some shows, and I walk out of the room and go do something else whenever she watches those kind of shows.
Right.
I can't stand it. At least what I know with the ESPN, at least I know what they're talking about and what they're arguing about, and I can kind of get on board. But I mean, not my cup of tea when I hear a bunch of grown men yelling at each other like that. But I get what they're saying. But like I said, I can see the comparison that she's saying pretty much. Yeah.
Cliff?
It's about ratings. People yell. That's what they're there for. I mean, what has she never heard like any type of like sports radio? People. That's why people are yelling about this, that, the other thing. Jerry Seinfeld said he loves listening to sports radio because people yell about things that absolutely do not matter in this world.
Right.
That's why he absolutely loves that. And it's about ratings. That's why unfortunately a lot of cable news has been. We're gonna have them yell at each other. And I have another an idea about that. If you've noticed, Stephen A. Smith said he's thinking about running for president. Yeah. I think she went to go check him out. He heard that, and that's how she stumbled upon the ESPN. So I don't think if he wouldn't have said that, she would have even bothered going to see what's going on and to see what he does or what's going on over there.
Hey, Eric.
I mean, it's a very thinly veiled shot at Stephen A. It's probably more or less what it was. I mean, you'd have to you have to understand though, she kind of there's a little comparison there, given that all they do on ESPN is yell at each other all day long.
Right.
These days, it's no longer gone are the days of Stuart Scott and them.
Right.
But it, it was just a thinly veiled shot, is what I'd say. And Michelle Obama's right. ESPN has fallen far down from where it used to be, and they no longer have the shows. They no longer really have the personalities, with the exception of Pat McAfee. And there's a reason that other people are just not watching ESPN anymore, and I think that's what Michelle Obama's getting at.
Yes, I miss Bob Lee and I miss Chris Berman. That's all I can tell you. Bob Lee was as good as it gets, and Chris Berman, obviously, those are two of the originals.
Especially on Sunday.
Yeah, that were there when it started. And I had a chance to meet Bob Lee over at the NSMA convention. It was unbelievable. I talked about him in my book as well. I actually mentioned Charles Barkley. I have a photo with him in my book as well. Let's continue on. Talk about Chicago Bulls. Obviously moved on from guard Jaden Ivey following his recent anti-LGBTQ comments and a series of controversial remarks involving religion and other topics. He's a former number 5 pick, spent 4 seasons with the Detroit Pistons. He was traded to Chicago in February. What's interesting, and obviously I believe the general manager was fired as a result for making the move. The Pistons ended up going ahead and picking up Kevin Huerter, who's doing a pretty good job as a shooter out there. And obviously Ivy will still get his full $10.1 million salary from the Bulls. Marky, let's talk about the way this thing has unfolded with Jaden Ivey. Is he blackballed? Do you think he'll get another job?
I think he will be blackballed. I think that this is an indication of how, the political leanings of the NBA, to be brutally honest with you. I think also that you've got a situation. I wonder, with the comments that he made, I wondered if a suspension might not have been better. In the old days, I think you would have had a suspension. But I think you have here a player that is viewed as a bust. And do we really want this around if it doesn't fit with the political image that we want to have in the NBA? I think it came down to that.
Candy?
I think part of it wasn't just all of that. I mean, he had mediocre stats at best this year, but they also say that players and management have noted an increase in Ivey's preaching and evangelizing behavior in the locker room, with some reporting that he would interrogate reporters about their private lives, all of which likely contributed to the detrimental conduct case. The other comments don't. His other comments don't help either. But if you don't have it on the court and can't back where your mouth is getting you into trouble, you're more problem than you're worth.
Yeah, and let me go into Kevin Huerter for a minute, because the Detroit Pistons, the kind of player that he is, he's actually, in his last 7 games, Kevin's averaged 12.1 points per game, 2.9 rebounds per game, 2.7 assists per game, 40.6% from the 3-point line, as well as 60.5% TS percentage. So, no, Pistons got a good player for him, and they unloaded a problem and a very expensive one in him as well. So more power for the Pistons to get value, and they got rid of the drama and don't have to go to $10 million. So, all right, Tony, what are your thoughts about Jaden Ivey?
Jaden Ivey is definitely blackballed. He will not be back in the NBA. Look, man, you don't want the LGBTQ community against you, no matter how you feel about them. There's a very powerful group of people that persuade and can control a lot of stuff. So if you go against them, and if you feel a certain way to make them uncomfortable, you will probably be ousted. And the way he went about it too, it seemed as though it was attacking a group, which you never want to attack a specific group in anything. So yeah, man, he probably, we'll see him in Shanghai playing for the Shanghai Sharks soon.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely done in the NBA for sure. Okay, Cody.
I don't have much on this. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, but
That's okay.
I mean, probably, yeah, for sure, blackballed. If if whatever kind of comments you have like that, you should probably just keep to yourself. That's probably the best, especially being a public figure like he is.
Mhm.
That's something you should probably just keep to yourself more.
Cliff?
Well, it just really comes down to the fact that he wasn't that good. You know, if he made the money,
Yeah.
he was their top scorer, and he was getting double doubles and triple doubles, and he's on the All-Star team, but it still felt exactly the same way, and still put the stuff out there. He'd still be on the team. There's no doubt he'd still be on the team. They'd probably make him apologize, and there'd be a summit and a press conference, and all that stuff, and all that. How that goes down. But it comes down to that. He wasn't that great. They gave him an excuse to get rid of him. And yeah, he's probably not going to come back. Because he's just not that good.
Eric?
I mean, I heard about it. I don't think he's coming back. I mean, this is what the NBA does to these guys when they don't lean in their direction, which is a shame, because they seemingly were okay with letting Gilbert Arenas hang around despite him keeping firearms in his locker, or even Ja Morant flashing guns on camera. The NBA just doesn't know what it wants when these guys get in trouble and can't really get out of their own way. But Jaden Ivey wasn't really that productive anyway. I mean, he was a first-round pick. There's a reason the Pistons got rid of him, because he was more of a head case than a producer. Right. And the last thing the league wants these days is more head cases, although I think they want less head cases, because, to be honest with you, every team has one. Let's take Anthony Edwards, for example, in Minnesota. But I think he's good as gone. He wasn't that productive anyway, and he was, and the Bull, and that wasn't the reason why the Bulls GM was fired. He was fired because that wasn't the only reason. The reason he was fired was the team was going nowhere, and he had no idea what he wanted the team to be. That's why he was fired. Never mind cutting people, because every GM, all 30 NBA GMs would have cut him anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, the Bulls are just a big giant mess. They've been a mess for years, and right now they're whoever the GM is got themselves. It's an attractive job given the market and given the loyalty Jerry Reinsdorf shows, albeit too much loyalty at times. Right. They're gonna have a mess to clean up, and they might be looking for a new coach too, because Billy Donovan's future is kind of up in the air.
Well, Billy Donovan leaves it'll be by his own choosing, because he's fed up with what's going on. All right, anybody I haven't called on at this point? Candy, Yen?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, let's continue to move on. I got a Pittsburgh guy in here. So let's go talk about Joe Block, and he'll give you some interesting words of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Go ahead, Candy. Roll the tape.
Let me do that. Share this.
How about that, Marky? I get out there to Bradenton, and I do this just for you, my friend.
Yeah. Okay.
This. Yeah, obviously the Pirates have had a great history of broadcasters. Bob Prince was on there, Steve Blass. Have you been able to really embrace a lot of their past broadcasters, and how much have you enjoyed, the people that came before you?
Yeah. We're sitting in the Steve Blass booth right now, and I got to work with Steve for 4 years when I first started here, and sat next to Bob Uecker for 4 years in Milwaukee, and learned a lot from him, and we had a lot of laughs. It was great. And so my personal history, being able to work with some of the best people and best broadcasters, it's been a privilege. But the Pirates have, going back to Rosie Rosewell, I mean, have had Harold Arlen had the first broadcast ever in 1921 on KDKA. So Pittsburgh baseball on the radio, it's a privilege to be able to broadcast for the Pirates, because there have been so many great people that have done that through the years.
Are there any particular broadcasters that you've learned from over the years that you've been able to try to build your style around? Obviously, you have to be your own person, but let's not kid ourselves. Being from the Detroit area, I've always tried to pattern myself around Ernie Harwell and others, but Ernie was my favorite one. But what about you, Joe?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have one person or even a few people that I've patterned anything against. I'm kind of a weirdo, so I just got to do whatever I like to do. But yeah, growing up in Detroit, obviously it was Ernie and Paul on the radio. Paul Carey doesn't get enough accolades, in my opinion. He was really good. And then George and Al on TV. You have two Hall of Fame players doing the game. George on play-by-play and Al on color. And I mean, so I learned the game of baseball between those four guys, being able to watch them, and they really made the game vivid, but also, brought it to me in a way that was exciting. And of course, the Tigers. I grew up in, started following baseball in the mid '80s. So '84, I was 6 years old, and okay, what is this? This seems exciting. Cruising Gratiot with my dad in his '57 Chevy pickup. Honking the horn and. Okay, what is this? So, 85, 86, and I was 8 years old. I started really getting into the Tigers, the 20 home run infield, and then 87 went into, Tanana over Key in the final day of the season. It couldn't have been better. And I was that game, that 1-0 Larry Herndon home run and the whole bit, that game cemented my love for baseball.
All right, Marky, some thoughts about some of the questions I asked about the history of the broadcasters.
I enjoyed that very much, except that I thought Lenny Fratteri and Steve Blass, if you're looking at Greg Brown, if you're looking at historical pirate broadcasters. I mean, Milo Hamilton wasn't popular in Pittsburgh when he broadcast the Pirates games, but still is a fantastic broadcaster. A Hall of Fame Ford Frick one who also called games for the Pirates and such. And I loved hearing the stuff with Ernie Harwell and the old Tigers when I was the broadcaster of the Johnson City Cardinals back in 1997. I actually reached out, just wrote a letter to Ernie Harwell. He called me up, gave me all kinds of pointers, including one I have never heard any broadcasting school. It's straight from Ernie Harwell. And it was when you're calling a baseball game, as I asked him, when's the best time to tell a story? And he said, the best time to tell a story is right after a foul ball. You have to get in, you have to get out. But there's more time then, right after a foul ball. And nobody else is, you're looking at the ABCs of baseball broadcasting, I haven't heard that from anybody else. So, the Pirates historically have had some great broadcasters. And obviously, Ernie Harwell, you referenced there, might have been the greatest ever.
Okay. All right, let's continue with the Pirates theme because baseball history, recent deaths of Bill Mazeroski and David Parker. There are no living Hall of Famers who played for the Pirates that are left. Who knows if we'll ever see Barry Bonds? This is right up your alley, Marky.
Do you think should Barry Bonds be in? Is that what you're asking?
I don't know. I mean, there's only two that are left. Who knows if Barry Bonds will ever get in?
I'm all for Barry Bonds being in the Hall of Fame. By this time, I think the Hall of Fame has been so watered down with the Scott Rowlands and if you want a Pirates Hall of Famer, I don't think he should be in, but Jim Leland. And Jim Leland,
I think is in now.
Yeah, he is in. I don't think he should be.
Okay.
But I will tell you this, that would be a Pirate who is living, who is in the Hall of Fame. Now, but what I was going to say, if you're asking me, should Barry Bonds be in? I would have absolutely no problem with putting Barry Bonds in because, like I said, it's been watered down so much. And by now, when you have a David Ortiz, but you don't have a Barry Bonds, it gets down to, well, did we like this guy or not? And I know character is one of the determining factors in deciding who the Hall of Fame should be in. But the fact that Barry Bonds may have had a prickly personality doesn't refute 762 home runs. It doesn't, it doesn't refute that he probably was the best ball player. I'll go so far as to say between Ruth and Ohtani. And the reason why those guys might be above him is they also pitched. And that's about it. And they pitched well. Let's put it that. I mean, Daniel Okrent said, Beethoven and Cezanne was the comparison he made to Ruth's pitching and hitting skills. Say the same thing about Ohtani. Well, are you knocking Bonds that he didn't pitch? That's pretty hard knock. I'm thinking of if you're talking about other living Pirate Hall of Famers, Burt Blyleven. I want to see Burt Blyleven get inducted. I love the 79 Pirates. But that would be a Pirate pitch for a lot of other teams. You may think of him more as a Minnesota Twin. But, yeah, he was a member of the We Are Family Buccos.
Yeah, back, I think in 79, wasn't he?
Yeah,
the family
yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly.
And
so.
the interesting thing was, you want to talk about prickly personalities. Blyleven had a little of that. Yeah, but the thing was, in his Hall of Fame speech, he had a bit of a falling out with Chuck Tanner, who was one of the managers that everybody likes. So you have to wonder, well, just what's going on here? You know, Blyleven wanted to pitch more innings, basically, and it sort of stemmed from there. Anyway, the situation came out. I remember in his Hall of Fame speech, he was talking about, I want to thank people, and posthumously, he made sure that he thanked Chuck Tanner. And I did. So, I mean, that also speaks well, maybe, of the maturing of someone like Blyleven or so. But if we're looking at living Pirate Hall of Famers, there you go. I would say Blyleven and Leland are two that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, I mean, both are in. All right. Anybody else want to come?
Gossage pitched the 1 year in 77.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the two actual other ones that you'll ever see. I don't think they're going to see any other one for a while outside of Bonds. That was the whole purpose of this question.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that it's probably going to be a little bit hard. By now, the Hall of Fame is just a random selection of people.
Well, Marky, by now they've had so many down years, I can't think of another guy that would even get
No, I get it. I would say, I mean, you can argue Kutch, but, there's, and I'm trying to think of someone, and I know it's probably on the top.
Garrett Cole? Garrett Cole began his career with the Pirates.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Garrett Cole, exactly. Yes. I remember being a Pittsburgh cab driver and driving his parents around. There's a story. But
wasn't AJ Burnett also a Pirate?
What?
AJ Burnett?
But he's not a Hall of Famer, though.
That's a little bit much. Yeah. Remember, they went with Cole in the final playoff game instead of AJ. So, yeah.
Yeah, but here's their problem. The Pirates had 20 years in a row where they didn't have a winning season. Now they're having another top 10 spell. It's hard to find a Hall of Famer out of that group. That's the only reason why I brought this topic up. That obviously with Parker and Mazeroski gone, I don't see a road with anybody else. I
would say, you want to know one guy that I thought should have gotten, we can discuss if he's a Hall of Famer or not, but Bill Madlock is the only guy with 4 batting titles who's not in. And
now you're on to something there.
And the travesty of Madlock is if you go back to when they voted on him, he didn't even get 5% of the ballot, which is what you need to stay on the ballot. Now, how 4 batting titles doesn't get you 5% of the vote, I don't know. But I think that goes into, there's a lot of conversation about how Hall of Famers, is there a Yankees bias, whatever. When Don Larson can stay on the ballot for 15 years and Bill Madlock cannot get 5% of the vote, I ask you if there is a Yankees bias. I would absolutely say yes.
Great stuff. While you're ahead.
Time out, Marky. Time out, Marky.
Here we go. Boxing match between Kathy and Marky.
As far as Yankee bias, I mean, come on. If there was a Yankee bias,
come on, it's a New York baseball writers organization.
Well, if it was a Yankee bias, Alex Rodriguez would be in the Hall of Fame by now.
Why is Phil Rizzuto in and Cecil Travis not? One played for the Washington Senators, the other for the Yankees. He had one good year, an MVP year in 50, and was surrounded by a lot of other good talent and was a popular broadcaster. Travis, the superior player. You want it to A-Rod? I mean, A-Rod is the Seattle Mariners, so that's a very poor. We're talking about, again, by now, the Hall of Fame has become just a random selection of
Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland shouldn't be in there. I agree with you because I can name a bunch of third basemen of that era who were way better than Scott Rowland. But here's the thing: you're also wrong about Jim Leyland being in the Hall of Fame. That guy took about 3 out of the 4 teams he managed to the postseason. He helped the Marlins.
Jim Leyland. There's one.
Let me finish, Marky. You've had your turn. Now sit down. Here's the thing about Leland. He took 3 out of 4 of his teams to the postseason. You can't help the fact that the Marlins, as dysfunctional as they are, decided to burn their entire damn boat down and have a little fire sale. And you could probably say the same thing about the Pirates, who decided to become what they are now, which they cheap out on just about everything that walks. And that is why. And you can't put that on Leland. Leland turned that team around, took them within a Sid Bream slide away from going back to the postseason. He took the Tigers, who were coming off almost setting the loss record within 3 years, to the World Series.
What managerial record does Jim Leland hold?
It doesn't help that he had.
What managerial record does Jim Leland? I'm asking you. What managerial record?
Have you seen his body of work? Have you seen his body
Jim
of work?
Leland's record? First of all, he did not take the Pirates. That was not the deciding factor. Bunting in the first inning with Jay Bell did not put the Pirates to 3 division titles. Let's get that established. Barry Bonds got him into the playoffs.
Developed under Leland.
And they regressed as soon as Bonds left. Let's get that established right now. Next question. What is the managerial record of Jim Leland? I will tell you. It is the longest tenure in National League history without taking a team to the World Series. Judge a manager or coach by what he does in the postseason. When talent is equal and strategy makes the difference.
Still, he took 3 out of 4 of the teams he managed, albeit the short stay in Colorado. The 3 out of 4 teams he managed to the postseason when they hadn't even smelled the postseason in years. He took a Tigers team who just 3 years ago
he had a butt title in Miami. A butt title in Miami. He inherited Barry Bonds. Please, when he came, you say they hadn't been there in years. They had not been there for 6 years to the playoffs and all this. If you want to talk about the long time drought or something, the Marlins, I think, were in, let's see, they started in 93, 97, so they're in their 5th year of existence. Look, if you want judge a coach or a manager by what he does in the postseason, and where strategy is equal where talent is equal and strategy is often the deciding factor. You want to blame Barry Bonds? Why the hell was Dan Belinda not pitching for a week when he was brought in?
Hold up, wait, time out.
Then why did
this is what Michelle Obama was talking about? You guys are being freaking housewives
I'm not as pretty. Jim Leland is the most overrated figure in sports history next to Colin Kaepernick.
He took the Pirates further than any other. He took the Pirates further than any other manager you've ever had in recent years.
No, Chuck Tanner won the World Series. Danny Murtaugh won it twice. Clint Hurdle turned a team around that hadn't been around, that hadn't had any winning seasons in 20 years. Don't give me this.
Recent years, Marky, and you could tell recent years, Marky, since we're going with the present.
Clint Hurdle. And recent years, Leland hasn't managed the Buccos since '96. That's not that recent.
What is that?
And he managed them to the longest period of time without taking a team to the World Series in the history of the National League. If Jim Leland belongs in a Hall of Fame, literally every manager in the history of the National League belongs in the Hall of Fame because his record is failure.
Hey, Marky, I'll say this. I don't have the ability to do CPR in the show, but you're doing a hell of a job.
I'm sorry, but that is one thing where I see, I looked at this guy when I was there in opening day, the first day that he managed, this overzealousness of the sacrifice bunt. My goodness, when he had Sid Bream, I mean, that's his first game. You look at this, the strategic moves that he made in the playoffs, not walking Greg Olson, batting 188, hitting Curtis Wilkerson for 295 inning Don Slott with 2 outs in the 9th and a tying run at third base in the second game of the 91 NLCS. I remember all this sort of stuff. Why are the Pirates so bad? Because they've given an emperor with no closed deity.
Okay, Marky, you're the best. I've never seen a guy with your energy and passion. I thought I had it. Marky's got more than I do. So here's what we're going to do, Marky. Okay, here's something you don't have to. It's all for yourself. Okay, Marky. Now that you've taken, you had a field day with
the third baseman in right field and the right fielder at third base, for crying out loud. I remember those days. Bobby Bonilla, and Darnell Coles. Please don't tell me about it was the most overrated. Sure, yeah, Terry Collin likes him. Baseball lifer, great. Strategy, horrible. And it says master strategist on his Hall of Fame plaque. Again, random selection of people by now. I'm telling you, it's fraud.
This is more entertaining than seeing a full line brawl in hockey right now. I'm just saying.
What?
I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you something. This battle between Marky and Eric, to me, makes hockey fights look like little slap fest, because this is a heavyweight fight between these two.
Was not.
You know what? Well, hold on. Wait a minute. I can yell too. I look forward to this boxing match every week with you two guys. This is called entertainment, people. Marky Bilson against Aaron Ken. You could. And who am I?
I watched this guy 11 years as a kid.
I like you, Marky. I do. I like you, Marky. I do.
Hey, Marky, hold on. Let me get a word in. And not too many people out yell me, but you do, and Eric does when he needs to. Okay, but you guys are the best. I swear to God. I'm a great promoter. I'm the white. Sorry, don't take this the wrong way here, Anthony. I'm the white version of Don King with these two guys. And again, don't be offended, Bessemer City, because, I had to bring on Don King because I got Eric, and then we have Marky. All right, Marky, here's what we're going to do, okay? Catch your breath. Do you have any parting shots? And because I know you got to get out of here at 10, I need parting shots, my town, unless you combine them, and let everybody know how they get a hold of you. And again, Tony, Bessemer City, don't take what I said about Don King personally.
Jim Leland was extremely good at getting the media to like him, even in his first managerial gig when he went 31-35 and for the 71 Bristol Tigers. The sports editor of the Bristol Herald Courier would refer to the Bristol Tigers as Leland's lads. He was very good with the media, who would give him false praise. Like I said, there aren't a lot of rookie 31-35 managers who they call the team your lads in that era. I mean, that was why he was able to, get the gigs that he did. He just sort of last as long in Pittsburgh without doing anything that he did. Marky,
let me say
and you had a washed-up beat writer covering him in Paul Meyer. And you want to talk about great broadcasters? Laney Fertieri told me specifically he was great friends with Leland, but he would never ask him about strategy. And so he was able to run. He was able to run roughshod.
Let me tell you, I had a good working relationship with Jim Leland too with the Tigers. He's one of the favorite people I've ever had.
Yeah.
So I had a good relationship. Now, what you and Eric did is different. I'm out of that one, because when you guys go at it, I'm staying the hell away from that
when you're batting the greatest home run hitter in the history of the game in terms of numbers first, where he can't drive in and he runs for 5 years, and then all of a sudden, wow, I drop him in the order and we win the division title. Imagine that. I mean, you've got to look at the fact that the man had some horrible strategic moves in Pittsburgh. And that's why they didn't make the World Series. Postseason, my goodness, it wasn't Leland's shots. Who is it? They had Bonds, they had Bonilla, they had Van Slyke, heck on an outfield, and they had a Cy Young winner on the mound. And when they traded down the stretch for Zane Smith, he goes 6-2 with a 1.30 ERA, and the Pirates win the division by 4 games. Those were the 4 games. He was winning them 1-0. I mean, that's how, he was a great manager. He put the dead Dre back out on the hill. Nobody else could have figured that out.
All right, so Mark,
left him in too long in the 7th game of the 92 NLCS.
So, Marky, do you have any parting shots on my towns here?
Well, I think my parting shot I just did for 10 minutes there on the historical, baseball and all that. No,
well,
if you're looking at my going back, if you're looking at going back, I do like, for better, it's early. He's played, one game or something? I think maybe 2. But Connor Griffith getting the 9-year contract, which will last until he's 28. I found that to be very interesting. First, I liked it in that the Pirates are doing what the Cleveland Indians used to do when they had a very good team in the 90s and won the World Series, but they had consistent winners, and they had been losers for years and years before. And they had a good nucleus of talent. And what they did is they signed them to long-term contracts to prevent them from becoming free agents so easily. Now, what has happened here is that they've got Griffin tied up through 28, and that's very interesting right there. They've got him for 9 years. But the idea is, the analytics people tell you that you go on the second half of your career, your production begins to decline after 28. Now, I mean, everybody is different, all that, they're asking a lot, but still, I saw the logic of what they were trying to do. And for the first time, it looks like the Pirates have made, this makes sense. You're keeping a good player. You're not just asking him to play 4 years and then trading him away. Wow, this is great. Like a Cole or Kutch played more than 4 years, but you get the idea. Where as soon as they become free agents, letting them go.
All right, Marky. I'm glad you can take a quick breath. Okay, you're doing good. I am proud of you. Where do you get that gasoline, by the way? You get Mountain Dew or Diet Coke or coffee?
The gasoline that I last had, let's see here. I think I last got it at Mobile down in OC. So anyway, but
all right. So do you drink Monster drinks or Red Bull?
No, it's always coffee.
Okay, there you go. The coffee just made you. All right, so, Mark, you let everybody know how to get a hold of you. Man, you are the greatest. I made some additions this year.
I think I've been the loudest here. And
that doesn't matter. Hey, Marky, I come to expect certain things out of you. I found somebody louder than me.
Doing the stuff they do on East Tennessee State, I have many my towns, like Johnson City, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Florida. All sorts of things. But you will be able to find me on TikTok at Marky Bilson. Still doing 1-minute commentaries on ETSU. I get 6 months of no games. So, a lot of stuff to talk about. And the other place you could find me would be YouTube at Marky Bilson IV. But just Google the name. You'll find those videos. 1 minute, telling you what you need to know about a mid-major program. And I know it's not everybody's favorite team, the East Tennessee State. Heck, half the people in Johnson City are rooting for the Vols instead of the Bucks. But the fact of the matter is, it's a legitimate D1, and what goes on there and the goings on there it's kind of like the standard and what goes on in college athletics. If that makes any sense. It's as good of a barometer to gauge the NCAA by as any.
And you can find Marky Bilson here on the Sports Exchange on Wednesday night. And I'll tell you what, I enjoy it when he's the loudest person in here because it means I get to take part of the show off and get to do it later.
Let me tell you about George Quarles, the former ETSU football coach next to
Well,
time. Go with that. Yeah, go with that. They hired a guy right out of high school. He destroyed the program. Anyway.
Marky, you're the best. I love listening to you.
We have Eric. We have all these other people. Please don't call. Thank you. They're just as good.
I got news for you. I'm looking forward to this boxing match between Marky and Eric every week, man.
You bring up Jim Leland, then it will. That's a pet subject.
I'll tell you what you guys bring up. I get to sit here and watch this boxing match, man. This is for the ages. Marky,
I'm 3 minutes late. I gotta go. Right. It's been nice, very much, Eric. Very much enjoyed it with everyone here. Sorry if I'm being, and I hope I haven't been too.
Marky, you're just being Marky.
Goodbye.
See you next Wednesday, Marky. Marky versus Eric, round 1. Okay, good.
All right, can I say something? Can we get like sounds for like a boxing sound? Like in this corner we have Eric, and this corner we have Marky. Kind of thing. Just have the bell go off.
Candy's gonna work on that. Candy, have something here. Candy, your homework for next Wednesday is you got to come up with something between these two guys because this is unbelievable.
Yeah, get Michael Buffer.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know how to do that. That's way over my priority.
Tony has a point. Michelle Obama might be onto something here.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll tell you. All right, so what do you guys say? It's so unbelievable that
I was going to say, I was gonna say Bobby Bonilla probably gives Cliff nightmares.
All right, where am I at? I have no idea where I'm at.
I know all about Bobby and Boney. I get a reminder every year in July. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's.
So, all right,
I don't blame him. I want to do that too. You're getting over $1 million till you're 65 or however long. That's smart on him.
Never mind the deferred money. Never mind.
Oh, you want to go? Yeah, we can go there with the stupid. That horrible. Yeah, I've got nightmares from that team. Okay, so we can go that way. Sure, him, Vince Coleman. Yeah,
and you brought him just to bring him back again. Just to bring him back again.
Yeah. That was great. I was like, well, why is he coming back? Yeah, it's like, sorry, we're getting a little lost here, Scott, on our thing. We can go back and forth with that. Yeah.
All right, don't worry. We got plenty of things to go back and forth here. Candy, I think it's time for a quick station break. Don't you think so? More show to come.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book. Why isn't it coming up? Lessons from the Microphone. Oh, come on.
She's got all kinds of graphics. Don't put me on the cover of my book. That's okay.
At least you're the one that wrote it.
Yeah, that's okay. I wouldn't know how to do this stuff. That's okay, Candy. However you just talking, I'll kill you. After all, you're one of the big brainstorms out here. Figure it out. I'm sorry. Go on.
Lessons from the Phone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, talks about his 40-plus years in the media business and how it has evolved. Old school media versus new school media. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there's a plethora of great content. And if you like to listen to the audiobook, you can find it wherever you get your audiobook as well. If you'd like to advertise or sponsor a show, or if you want to come on and watch the boxing match, the Sports Exchange. If you ever want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you want to, last but not least, if you see that red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. What are you waiting for? Just click it, like us, share us with all your friends and family, and then turn on your notifications so you never miss one of these awesome broadcasts. Monday nights is baseball night. Tuesday nights is football. Wednesday nights preceding this was the Motor City Mad Mouse Show with Scott and Steve. You never know what they're going to be talking about. And then obviously on Sports Exchange here, you don't know what we're going to be talking about either. Thursday nights, Sports Wrap. It's either hockey or soccer, whichever one is on topic for the night. And then Thursday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, as Scott affectionately calls it, come on over to the Country Club. It's Fire Up, where I lead the show. So turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our great programming. Back to you, Scott.
All right, let's talk some NIT basketball, Candy. I'll tell you one thing. Stephen Pearl was under a lot of criticism for his first year, but you know what? He emerged as NIT champion, so, give him a little bit of due here. His one-year resume includes a 22-16 mark, 7-11 in the SEC, and obviously his quality wins were against St. John's University, Florida, and Arkansas, 36 in the Ken Palm and NIT championship. So, Candy, give us an overview of the NIT tournament, the matchups that you actually had in this one, which actually concludes at Madison Square Garden. You had the Auburn Tigers, Illinois State Redbirds, New Mexico Lobos, and the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Can you give us an overview of the NIT Final Four?
So
this is only Candy only. We don't need anybody to comment on it.
Auburn beat Nevada. Illinois beat Dayton. Then New Mexico beat St. Joseph's. Tulsa beat Wichita. Tulsa went on to beat New Mexico.
We're only looking at the Final Four, Candy. That's it.
Auburn beat Illinois. Those are the Final Four. Auburn, Illinois State, Tulsa, and New Mexico. Tulsa lost to Auburn in the finals.
Oh, there you go. Stephen Pearl won an NCAA championship. Obviously, you're from that part of the country. What are your Cliff, what are your thoughts about at least the thing in Madison Square Garden? What are your thoughts about Stephen Pearl's first year overall? Didn't have the year that his dad had, obviously, but he was able to at least take this invitation and he could build on it.
I guess that's okay. It's the NIT. It's the consolation tournament. I never really kind of got it. It's like we're not good enough to get into the good tournament, so we want them to feel good. They were Gen Z before Gen Z was a thing. It's like the participation trophy tournament. Okay, so that's what this is. It's I never really got it. That's great. I'm not a big college basketball guy either, but the NIT. It was big back in the day. It's kind of silly to me. They pale in comparison to it's like, oh, and there are teams like not going to it. It's like they have to like scrape up teams to go to it, and I don't even know why they still do it.
All right. Anybody else have anything to say before we move along through the show about it, or you're all right with Cliff? Go ahead, Tony.
I think the NIT, it came before the NCAA tournament. I do think it's lost its allure, but it's more so because of the transfer portal and NIL and that stuff. I don't think you have to go into the offseason so quickly now because of the craziness of the transfer portal. I think that's why a lot of these bigger teams are pulling out, because you got to go into recruiting, because you got teams like the women's Tennessee team that has 0 players on their roster right now. Right. So I think that's what's really affecting the NIT. And that's a whole nother can of worms that we won't get into.
We'll talk about it next Wednesday now that you brought it up. Good stuff.
All right.
The one thing I would say is the NC2A tournament, they're talking about expanding it even more. They want to go to 72 teams?
76, I think, Ken.
76. And now NIT is 32 teams. So
go figure. All right. Anyways, that's all that's what we're going to lead with the topic. And that's this. All right. So let's go out there and talk about, Sheila Ford. You know what? We talk about somebody a different sport altogether. Detroit Lions owner Sheila Ford becomes part owner of the Indian Premier League team. Obviously, we're talking about the Rajasthan Royals. In a deal reported worth $1.63 billion, the Royals become the first Indian Premier League franchise to cross the $1 billion valuation mark. So, anybody know anything about cricket? This is a pretty interesting investment for Miss Ford in itself. She's trying to buy into something that none of us understand, but they have a wide field, and you never know. Cricket might be one of those sports down the road that could be something that more owners are buying into. Again, we don't need a large commentary here. Cliff, what are your thoughts about what Mrs. Ford did on this?
It's a financial investment. That's what it is. Just trying to do their brand to get. I mean, it's big and big where it is, and internationally, there's money to be had. That's why she's doing it. It's purely a business decision. That's what it, and maybe she'll try to find a way to cross promote the Lions with this and add to her sports empire. That's basically what this is all about.
Andy?
Yes, the ownership group that's trying to buy in it includes Sheila Ford Hamp, her husband Steve, her sons Michael and Peter, and Denver Broncos owner Rob Walton. The reported $1.63 billion sale makes the team one of the most valuable in the league.
I didn't know the Broncos owner was involved. Rob Walton, that's pretty good. If she's getting involved with them, that's not so bad. Tony, any thoughts about this one?
Look, I Googled random stuff, and one day I was Googling the biggest stadiums in the world. And the one stadium, it's 2, but the one stadium, one of the 2 stadiums that's bigger than the Big House, which she's probably familiar with being in Michigan, is a cricket stadium in India. So that goes to show you the kind of people that show up for cricket games around the world. We might not know a lot about it in the USA, but they love it in other places and other countries. So this is probably a great investment for her.
Yeah, I like the comments all the way around. Eric?
Yeah, I think it's an investment. Cricket's growing. So, she made the smart move by putting some money in there, and she's got some pretty powerful people to do it with.
Fair enough. Cody?
I mean, everyone's pretty much said what I was going to say. It's an investment group, and I don't know a lick of cricket. You know, I couldn't tell you how to do it. All I know is it just looks like you're playing baseball, but it bounces first. That's all I think. That's all I know.
That's
right. But because of you, we've grown soccer, so that's good enough. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And we got soccer. We have hockey on Thursday night. Okay, the Baltimore Orioles allow fans into the park earlier for some games to watch batting practice. How about that? Right in your neck of the woods, Cliff, the Baltimore Orioles are allowing fans. Of course, we all know they're going to take advantage of the concessions, right?
Well, actually, Baltimore's concessions, at least I went to the Ravens, and they had actually really reasonable concessions prices. I really surprised when I went there. Now, I haven't been to Camden Yards in a while, but that's nice of them to do. The team itself is got off to a middle of the road kind of like start. Alonso hasn't done all that well. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean, whatever they got to do. I mean, it's a beautiful stadium. But yeah, it's nice that they let people go in for batting practice. I remember doing that back in the day. They used to allow that. But that was
I didn't go to that stadium. I went to the football stadium there, so I'd like to get to Candy some thoughts about what they're doing in Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to the stadium when I was young, and you could watch batting practice. In fact, you'd go stand behind like the outfield wall just to see how many balls you could get that were home runs and what you could collect from them. And obviously, playing in a historic ballpark such as Camden Yards, kudos to them, because you're trying to market your team and get better attendance. Why not open it up?
Hey, who knows? Maybe they did it so that Pete Alonso, they can watch him take batting practice. Everybody I know he's there. All right, Tony.
Yeah, man, this is how you advertise the polar bear, man. Like this should be a Pete Alonso thing, like, because you have somebody who can hit bombs in batting practice. I'm sure it is a spectacle to watch. Right. But this is just good. You want to grow the game. You want to engage your fans. You want to reinvigorate Baltimore and the Orioles and say, hey, guys, we have a good team. Come watch us. It makes sense. Now, will they continue to be a good team and people want to watch them? It's still early. So I'm reserving all criticism for teams because it's still early. But it makes sense. You want to grow the game. You want to feature your players too. I think this should be something that they kind of highlight Pete Alonso with.
There you go. Great minds think alike, Tony. That's what I love about you, my brother. You're the best. And I have an announcement to make later on today with Eric and Tony. Of course, Tony doesn't know about it yet, but he will in a few minutes.
Oh,
okay,
snap.
And that's it. Yeah, well, don't worry about Tony. It's all good, brother. All right, Eric, Eric, go ahead. You're next since you guys are next to each other.
Well, I mean, it's great for Baltimore to do that. I mean, I've always thought it was really cool to see batting practice. I mean, I remember they used to let you back in the day. Now the players have really kind of been against taking batting practice in front of the fans, which I don't see why. I mean, simple toss, guys probably going to blast it 100 rows in the center field. But I mean, good. It's great for the fans. I mean, if Orioles fans want to go inside and see the overrated Pete Alonso and his $156 average, they can.
Okay,
it's still early. It's still early.
I'm surprised you're supporting him after that.
It's still early. I'm not happy about that, but that's the Mets' fault. That's not his fault.
Yeah, it's super early.
So we will have another boxing match in there between Cliff and Eric.
He's one, but yeah, I think.
Boxing match between you two.
I nicknamed him Swing and a Miss Pete because that's all he seemingly does.
My God, here we go again.
Yeah. This early, sure. Yeah, they're gonna happen to anyone. He's not in the same
even with the Mets
lineup. You didn't see last year. Yeah, he struck out a lot. They hit a lot of home runs too.
He also benefited from Juan Soto in the lineup. Had Juan Soto not been there,
he had done that before. He was pretty good before. All right, it's not like you're not gonna say, yeah, did he suck the year before? Yeah, they have bad things. They have bad seasons. It happens. But it's like
he wanted that big contract, even though he plays first base and was hitting probably average numbers for a first baseman this day and age because he hasn't equaled what he did his rookie year.
No, he hasn't. You're absolutely right, but it still doesn't mean he hasn't performed, and he had a good year last year. He proved he deserved to get what he got, but because he was the team. He was that player. Okay, you need those players, and he did perform. He earned it, and the Mets didn't want him. I'm still upset that they didn't want him. Now we get Vientos is doing okay now, but we'll see. We're very streaky. Okay, the Mets are very streaky. Our fans are even streakier. We are very extreme. It's like, oh my gosh, one day, they're going to win the World Series. Next day, oh my gosh, blow it all up. It's like, guys, calm down, stop.
Yes, they've had a lot of traumatic experiences.
I can give you traumatic experience after
traumatic. All right. I got a few topics I want to get to, including MLB realignment and expand. No, that's okay. We have one rivalry with Eric, with Marky. Now we get it in the second hour with him and Cliff. I love it. This is what this show's all about, people. We create rivalries within the program, and we take entertainment to a new level, right, Tony? Bessemer City? Right, Tony. Shake your head and clap your hand because we have another rivalry in the second hour. All right, I'll tell you what, Cody. Are you enjoying this? Give us your thoughts real quick about the early one, and then we have a couple quick topics before we go to MLB expansion realignment.
I almost forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's all right. Batting practice over at Camden Yards and letting them in early.
When I was growing up, we always went to the batting practice for the Angels, or whenever we went to Dodger games, and I thought it was like a normal thing, So it's good for the Baltimore Orioles to do it. I just combine the name. It's just easier to say it that way. But like I said, I think it's great. You get to show off, some of the new acquisitions you made. Alonso, Taylor Ward, and I think they picked up somebody else. I just can't remember too. But they get to show them off. Open the concessions a little earlier, maybe more alcohol sales and more food sales, and people are on this team store more. So, not a bad idea. And so, you kids get to try and catch a home run ball or a foul ball. Like, what kid doesn't want to do that at MLB Park?
There you go. All right, one more basketball topic I want to get to. Then we're going to go everybody's favorite topic. Although Eric's and Candy will talk about this one probably on their own because it's in their hometown. We'll limit it to them on Cooper Pratt. Well, let's talk about Adam Silver says there was nothing he could do to stop the Luka Doncic trade for Anthony Davis. Anybody want to talk about it? Does anybody agree with that? Tony, come on. I'll tell you, you do a good job talking basketball. What are your thoughts about this one?
I'm a Lakers fan, and I'm tired of hearing about the Luka Doncic trade. Like I'm sick. It was over a year ago. Trades happened. And, of course, Adam Silver couldn't do anything about it. I guess it was brought up because they want to reference when David Stern vetoed the Chris Paul trade, but that was a totally different circumstances. It was right after a lockout. It was a team with no ownership. Hey, if an owner agrees to trade a player, that's just what happens. That's the NBA. I don't even know how that's a thing where the commissioner would even bring up wanting or having the opportunity to stop it. If the Nuggets wanted to trade Nikola Jokic, they can do it. That's the rights of having a player under contract. That's just what can happen. We never seen anything like that happen before. Dallas got rewarded with getting the number one pick after having a 1.8% of doing it. Right. That's their reward. They got Cooper flag.
Right. Anybody else want to talk about this, or you want to move on?
Move on.
Okay, worked for me. Let's do it. All right, Cooper Pratt reportedly signs an 8-year extension. MLB's number 62 overall prospect with the Milwaukee Brewers. Pratt was actually hitting 261 with a 730, I think what they call it, whip or whatever, and 231. And so with actually an average of 261 and actually 231 minor league games. Any thoughts, Eric, about Cooper Pratt getting a little extra money?
I was sort of surprised they did that just because he's really a defense right now. His bat still has yet to really come around. He's a great defender, and I think when it's all said and done, he will win. I think he has an opportunity to win a Gold Glove when he comes up. But his offense really hasn't come around yet. But if that offense, I think the Brewers, were pretty opportunistic on this one, that they're banking on his offense coming around.
Okay, Tony, we'll go to the baseball people on this one, unless anybody else wants.
Hey, the theme now is pay him early, avoid arbitration, right? And if you look at what his name is fleeting me, what Pittsburgh just paid, what Seattle just paid for minor leaguers, this is cheap. So hey, this ain't 130, this ain't 140 million dollars. So $50 million for somebody who you can give time to grow, which I'm sure you're going to want them to play soon if you give them that kind of money. That's not bad. You look around and you look at the rest of the Central, you'll say, hey, we're not paying 140. So,
okay, Candy, some thoughts about what the Brewers did.
You know, I mean, the Brewers win based on young talent and hitting on young talent. And that's the way that's what they think. They believe the security that comes from signing a long-term contract while in the minor leagues should take pressure off him as he works his way up to the majors. He's 21 years old. He currently opened the season in the Brewers AAA Nashville affiliate. He's a 6th round from the 2023 draft, and he's rated as the game's number 51st prospect by Baseball America and number 62 by MLB Pipeline. He won a Gold Glove as a top shortstop in the minor leagues in 2024, and he's got an outstanding reputation as a fielder, and he's batting okay. They believe in his bat, they believe in his glove, and they think he's only going to get bigger. He's a big physical kid, so they think that he has a chance to grow into some power, and he can really run. So that's the kind of guys you want to sign.
Okay. Cliff, Cody, you're welcome to defer on this so we can get to other stuff unless you want to add to it.
I'm good.
Okay, no, that's fine. All right. Rob Manfred said he can see expansion and drastic realignment in the near future. What I did on baseball, I'm going to do it here on this particular question, is I'm going to go around the horn on this very quickly, rapid fire. This realignment is going to take a little time, and we have parting shots on as well as my town. So, Cliff, give me the top 2 teams that you will likely see as add-ons to bring MLB up to where they want to be. I think 32. Just 2.
Yeah,
That's all I'm asking.
2, probably Nashville and Salt Lake City, but I think Portland has a chance too.
Okay, no problem. Good enough. Candy, give me 2.
Nashville and Portland.
Okay. All right, Tony.
I'm gonna go Charlotte, Carolina homer. I'm gonna go Mexico City.
Oh, okay. All right, Eric.
I'm going to go Nashville and Portland.
Cody.
Bring the Expos back to Montreal. I wouldn't mind Nashville or an Omaha team too. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm not mad at Omaha.
Sentimentally, okay. I'd love to see the Montreal Expos. I really would. And then put them in the same division with Toronto. Then you have an NHL connection there. Mm-hmm. But there's perception and there's reality. Montreal is no close to getting a stadium there, and obviously they can't go with Olympic Stadium, so they need one in there. I haven't heard any talk. So conventional wisdom for me would say Nashville is a lock, and I would say you put Utah in there, and then Utah has a rivalry with Colorado. And I can tell you, how do you spell the word altitude times 2? Okay, that's what you have. So, all right, Candy, go to the graphics. We're going to talk about realignment. And then, Cliff, you like to go ahead and talk about this. So let's go ahead and
I'm going to tear this apart. This is an abomination. Okay, this takes the very heart, the soul, the very spirit, the essence out of Major League Baseball, American League, National League. You are taking away the tradition. You're taking away everything by doing this. This is utterly vile, disgusting. What are you doing? You're taking everything out of what makes baseball special. You want to tweak a couple things here and there. Okay, yeah, throw Colorado to the American League, maybe Tampa to the National. That's fine. They don't have a whole lot of tradition there. That's fine. You do this piece of garbage. This is the beginning of the apocalypse. This is just destroys sports at every stinking level. It's like I'm so pissed off about this. You can't even imagine. It's like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. None shall pass. And you know what? If you think none shall pass, you better watch out, because Red Foreman's going to put his foot up your ass.
He does it on that other word that you said, but tell me how you really feel, Cliff.
I love that reference. Red Foreman.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. I haven't heard that one in a while.
The Red Foreman one. Put your foot up your ass. That's a
that was the part. I no problem. I can't read it. It's too small. I commented the other day. So I think the expansion teams that they were looking at there, if I remember right, is what, Portland and Charlotte. Is that correct? Or Nashville and Charlotte? I don't know. I can't even see. Help me out, Candy. Or I don't know.
If it's in the Northwest, it's definitely not Charlotte and Nashville.
Yeah, so that's probably Portland and
Portland.
Like Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Nashville for sure is coming.
Yeah, realignment. Okay. All right, Cliff. Anything else you want to add, since you like to pick these expansion and realignment topics apart?
Yeah, it's not that hard. I've had this many years ago of how they should do it. I'm okay with 4x8. That's fine, but it's just putting all these teams like the Yankees and the Mets and the Boston Red Sox and the Philadelphia Phillies together. But it seems like it'd be really neat. And so you're taking away the very essence of what baseball is. The American League, the National League. Yeah, I'm okay with I'm not all, anti making some tweaks here and there, rule changes here and there. I'm fine with that. Doing that just completely obliterates it. I'm happy to go to 32 because now we can go back to where I hate interleague all the time. I like interleague when it's between basically Memorial Day until about the All-Star break, right, when you can do that. I know why you can't do it now, because we only have 30 teams and you have to do it that way. It sucks, but you got to do it. This is utterly ridiculous. It's an insult to the very game, and everybody who's ever played it.
So, Candy, were there any other graphics, or is that the one you're able to put up?
I don't. Were all the other ones?
All right. Well, Candy, just summarize them real quick, if you can. My eyes are just bad. I can't do it.
Hold on.
Blow it up a little bit.
Expand my.
She's just going to go over everything real quick. Go ahead.
This one it puts Charlotte in the expansion in Mid-Atlantic, and it puts Nashville in the Southeast.
Okay.
So this is a whole different one, because the other one had a Northwest one.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Right. These are each different ones that Scott found.
Yeah.
Get to the next one. And
I
this
think
one,
Jim Bowden has one in there too.
Oh, look, another division for the Angels to be last in.
That's funny. Sorry.
I'm an Angels fan today.
Diamondbacks aren't that great.
Yeah, well, have you seen the Angels?
Yeah, I'm trying to give them a little bit of hope.
They might not win the game, but they'll win the fight.
Yeah, it's like they're going to lose all those games.
Is that a pun intended right there, Tony?
Yeah,
what happened? Okay.
We don't need to switch. I mean, we don't need the divisions to be even. We just need them to. We've had divisions that are not even. The Central had I think 5 or 6 teams at one point.
Yeah, they did.
With the Astros were there, but then they moved the Astros to the AL West.
Yeah, thanks for that.
We don't need to make it's okay to have uneven divisions. I mean, gosh, we have extra wild cards for a reason.
Exactly. Thank you, Eric. That's why we do have them, because of that reason. All right, Ken, that's enough of that. Any questions or comments about realignment? Everybody satisfied? I like seeing the Tigers and the Brewers in the same division for obvious reasons. Then, of course, you put Toronto, you sprinkle it in there, and the Tigers have a good. Yeah, I know that, Cliff. Give me that hands. Okay. All right. Well, what do you want to see, Cliff? We got to make sure we appease him on this one, because he's pretty animated on Facebook about this realignment thing. Now is your chance. Now is your chance, Cliff, to say it like it is. I told you to get free reign on this topic, and you got about a few minutes to go.
I thought Marky was back on the way Cliff was going. Holy moly!
Well, when you mess around with baseball and the American National League, you're gonna hear a whole hell of a lot from me.
Yeah, I figured that, Cliff. There's no question about it. And hockey, you're even worse, but that's okay, because I see you debating everybody on the planet, but that's okay. I look at Cliff as a realignment and expansion whiz, and that's why this topic was built for Cliff on this show tonight. I think about you, Cliff. Okay.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
All
All
right,
right. With that said, I think we beat this topic up as well as we can. So, but we're going to go around the horn here with parting shots. Cliff, lead off.
Parting shots. Okay, parting shots. I have to say, Islanders. I knew they were going to collapse. They collapsed, and what did they do? They fired Patrick Waugh. A little surprised they did it this late in the season. They didn't really have a great roster. Third and fourth liners, with the exception of a couple guys. Ilya Sorokin is the reason they are as far as how many games they've won. He's been absolutely astounding. Last few games have been a little rough because they've been a little rough. That happens when you don't play good defense and you give up too many shots. But yeah, there's too many delusional Islander fans out there. I don't know. I'm an Islander fan. I'm not delusional. And yeah, Matthew Schaefer's been great. Just so you know, he's 18. He turned 18 in September, and he's already broken all sorts of records. Phil Housley, all these other guys. And oh yeah, he lives with Matt Martin and Boomer Esiason's daughter, who Matt Martin is he hangs out with their little kids. So he's like a little kid, and he's still doing all this. He's one of the top 10 defensemen in the league, and he's still doing this, and he's still like a kid. So, but yeah, that's my thing. I'm upset with all that, but I'm not surprised. Go ahead.
All right, Candy, give me your parting shot.
I have two. Rest in peace, Davey Lopes. He passed away at the age of 80. He was a former Brewers manager. And then I want to wish the Wisconsin Badgers hockey team good luck as they take on North Dakota tomorrow in the Frozen Four.
Well, actually, and obviously, Cody and I will be talking about that in more detail with the group tomorrow night about the Frozen Four. Okay, Tony, go ahead. What's your parting shots, my friend?
Hey, you know what? I would say this for everybody, but Cliff, I want you to hear me out because you said it as a Mets fan. It's a long season, guys. You don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low. And I am a Yankees fan who needs to listen to my own advice right now. 162 games is a long time. Don't stress out over no 10-game stretch. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. All right, Eric, give us your parting shots. I know this comes easy.
I hope you are listening, Marky. I hope you are listening because Jim Leland has a .506 winning percentage as a manager, a winning record in the postseason, 25-23. He took the Detroit Tigers to the World Series as well as on other deep playoff runs, and won the World Series with the Marlins. Turned the Pirates around. Granted, he ran into bad luck when ownership decided to go cheap and fire sale. That is a Hall of Fame manager. You won your ring, and you won practically everywhere you went, with the exception of the 1-year stay in Colorado, which people forget about that blip on the radar. But he won, over 1,700 games and a .506 winning percentage. There are managers who have done worse.
Yeah, I can tell you everybody's looking forward to that first hour when Eric and Marky battle it out. I have to be really smart about what topics I'm going to draw these two in.
For 506.
A new rivalry has emerged here on the Sports Exchange, people. My former partner, George Eichhorn, and I, when we started the show many years ago, would never have realized what we're turning into here. We're turning this into a legacy, people, with Marky. We got Cliff. We got Eric. Of course, Eric yells at everybody. That's okay. If you don't believe me, go back to some of our old shows, and he used to beat the daylights out of Mark Mancini, people. All right, Tony, what's your parting shot?
Oh, well, I didn't think I would say this because, before the season started, I did not think my Ducks were going to be in a playoff spot. But now, they're leading their division barely. They had a minus goal differential, but in the last 2 weeks, they've lost 6 straight games. Since the Olympic break, they've given up 16 3+ goal games. They've only had 6 games where they've given up 2 or less goals. They've trailed in every single game since the Olympic break. They have not led in the full game, not once, since the Olympic break. They're 11-9-2 with 24 points in that time in 22 games. Their PK is awful. It's gone down from 11th to 26th since then. Only 29 games this year where we have scored first. Our record is 28-1, but in the other 49 games that we've given up the first goal, we're 21, 24, and 4. We are god awful right now. We're losing to teams that are not even in the playoffs. I mean, some of the teams are fighting for a playoff spot, but we lost to the Sharks. We lost to the Predators. We've lost to the freaking Flames. We lost to Toronto Maple Leafs, for God's sakes, without Austin Matthews.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just we're playing awful. Like, we gave up 4 breakaway goals to the Flames. The Flames, the worst offensive team in the freaking league right now. And it's sad that we traded away Ryan Strome because he wasn't playing. And what does he do? He scores a goal on us too.
It's Ryan Strome. We've had him. He's not that great.
Yeah, I liked him as a Duck. I liked his chemistry he had with everyone. But for him to go to the Flames and then he scores on the Ducks. And we just lost 5-0 to the Nashville Predators last night. We outshot them, but like I would say 90% of the shots were right at the goalie. It's like they were aiming to hit him, not actually score. And we got goalied, I'm not going to lie, but 90% of your shots should be aiming towards putting the puck in the back of the net, not hitting the goalie. We are just god awful, and at this point, I would not be shocked if the Ducks missed the playoffs at this point. After leading the division, less than 2 weeks ago. Now we're in third, and if we keep going the way we're going, we're going to miss the playoffs because the Predators are playing good, the Sharks are playing good, and the Kings are, just put every game in overtime, so they get a point every game. So that's kind of cheating, if I'm going to say it. Yeah, they've gone 31, 32 games now in overtime this year, and they just set an NHL record. So I'm tired. I'm so annoyed with my Ducks right now. I want to punch my monitor every time I'm watching a game.
Well, don't do that right now. We need to get you through this show and tomorrow. What you do after that, that's fine, as long as you're back and ready to go next Wednesday. Just kidding with you.
Gee, thanks. I'm glad that's how you feel.
Well, first of all, the last time you were on, your camera wasn't so good. We still worked around it. We still made it work, and you got to watch a pretty good
Well, that was
there.
the camera. We already got a new one.
That's okay. So we're past that. I love you, Cody. Okay. I love you, Cody. Don't you forget that. Understand?
No, I know.
All right, good. Mark parting shot. Well, what a good opening act for Justin Verlander with his return to the Detroit Tigers, because he ends up going 3 2/3 innings with 5 earned runs and 1 strikeout. And unfortunately for the Tigers, he's on the 15-day injured list. We'll see what happens there. Justin Verlander, although, again, they say it's precautionary on the injured list. We'll see what happens. AJ Shintz knows how to handle him. He worked with them in Houston. All right, let's go to the My Town version of the broadcast. All right, Cliff, what's going on in your town?
Well, we talked a little bit about the Mets, but they're going back and forth. They started off horrible. It is a long season. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I don't trust Freddie Peralta. I think he's gonna just go away real fast. He's gonna go to any other number of teams. Nolan McLean's okay. Vientos is hitting now. It's a long season. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared by them.
You should.
Yeah, I'll take wins when we can get it. But it's sometimes it looks great and sometimes it doesn't. But you can't go by what they are. They played the Pittsburgh, they played St. Louis, they played San Francisco, and they just got throttled by Arizona. David Peterson, great. All right. Sometimes he's fine and sometimes he's not. He's usually a typical 5th starter, and he looks like it sometimes. I don't know. It could go either way, and they spend so much money, and the Mets don't win that way. I wish they would learn.
Okay, Katie, what's going on in your town?
Obviously, the Bucks and Giannis are headed for an off season that I don't know that any Bucks fan wants, but it'll be interesting because I also think Doc Rivers will finally retire, which I think is one of the things that the Bucks really need. And I'm going to leave it at that, only because I know Eric, well, depending on what team Eric decides to go with, we could be doing a lot of the same. So I'll leave it at that.
All right, well, we'll go to, all right, so who am I with now? All right, so we got, who's left? Everybody?
Everyone on the bottom.
Okay, the bottom. All right, let's go ahead with you, Cody.
Magic getting ready for a play-in spot and possible playoff run. It's interesting to see how this goes. I'm predicting if the Magic don't get out of the first round, Jamal Mosley will probably be out as a coach. And the search is on because Mike Malone went to Carolina, and I know that was probably their top priority as a coach.
Great stuff. Actually, we're going to talk about Mike Malone next week here in the Sports Exchange. Give you a little heads up there, okay? There's a lot of info up, and I'm glad you brought it. We'll go into more details on that one. Great stuff, Tony, as always. All right, Eric, what's your what's your my town?
Well, the Brewers are off to a fantastic start despite not having Jackson Churro and Andrew Vaughn. Yeah, they lost their first series today against the Boston Red Sox, but didn't help that you didn't have Bryce Terang in the lineup, who's become one of their better offensive players since last year. So, it's hard to win. It's going to be hard to win when you don't got, but their pitching has been fantastic. We knew their bullpen was strong, and it's clearly it's clearly is. And there's Kyle Harrison is become the latest success story in the Milwaukee Brewers, turning an average arm into something useful. But yeah, the Brewers are off to a fantastic start. People should stop sleeping on them and should just accept the fact that the Cubs are overrated and the Reds always fall flat on their face when it matters. They are the team of that Central, and they've won. There's a reason they've won 3 years in a row, despite losing the likes of Josh Hader, Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, and more. They've won 3 divisions in a row in spite of all that, and yet people continue to sleep on them. It's pissing me off, and people need to knock it off because people all seemingly forget this is the same team that banged out 14 wins in a row and went to the NLCS. For a team in that market to make that kind of noise, that's pretty good. So people need to stop sleeping on them.
They need to win the world championship.
All right. Go ahead, Cody.
Your franchise is measured by more than just championships.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, here. I'm waiting for this rivalry to kick in the second hour. Now that Cliff knows Eric, we have to make sure the second hour is as lively as the first, because we know Marky will light it up with Eric. So Cliff, get ready for the second hour dramatics of you and Eric and Tony. I told you this is going to be interesting, and we have one more announcement we're going to make before we go off. Go ahead, Tony.
No, my town. I got to shout out the UCLA women's team for winning the Women's March Madness, first ever time.
Yeah,
great.
Look at
so
the
happy for them, and I heard they just completely dominated in that last game. I unfortunately couldn't watch it because of work and everything, but what a great win! Congratulations to them, and happy that UCLA is has now won another title to their bucket list and everything. So I'm happy for them.
And we got a nice little rush in here. Look at this candy. I love some of this stuff that comes in here. You see that little that's an interesting classic one. I'm sure you can take care of that. So all of this is unbelievable. There we go. We'll see who's banned here. All right. Well, my town actually goes up to Gainesville, where 7'9" Florida center Oliver Rio is entering the transfer portal. He announced on social media. Rio obviously appeared in only 11 games this season after redshirting a year ago. Don't worry, Dusty May, he knows a little bit about how things are done in Gainesville. I don't know if he'll go there, but mark my word, Oliver Rio will have no problem finding another quality spot. I'd like to see it work out in Gainesville, but Florida recruits well. And again, I'll say in Detroit, congratulations to Dusty May as well. He used to work at Florida Atlantic. I'll go into more FAU stuff next week. So, all right, the announcement I want to make is on July 11th, Eric Katz is going to be taking over talking baseball. July 11th is the first Saturday. Write this down, Eric. And the guy that will be joining him is Tony. Okay. Tony has earned the right to be Eric's co-host, and these two guys are going to be running that show. Tony, I tell you, I always told you I would do everything I could to reward you every way that I can with your great efforts on Wednesday night and Monday. But I think it's time for you and Eric to have an opportunity to do your own thing on Saturday. We're scheduling it on the schedule for 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, unless we have it to move it to 9, depending on what our commitments are in the field. Candy Ebling will produce it, but it'll be up to Eric and Tony to work together. And Eric is going to be the host of that show, okay, to come up with the guests and make it interesting. I'm staying out of this one. The reason why I'm doing it is I think it's important for me to take a day off and let the people that I brought into this network an opportunity to move up a little bit, get some quality tape, and just being there, going along with me on these crews is great. But I think this is the perfect opportunity, Tony, and I'm rewarding you this along with Eric together, okay, as an opportunity to show what you guys are about, talking about the greatest game created. Football's great, but baseball to me is unbelievable. Eric, you've earned it. You've been with me for how many years? A long time. This is an opportunity for you to shine and make me proud and make your family proud. Tony, yeah, there you go. In the short time that I've had you on this network, you have been absolutely fantastic. You've embraced your role here coming on the Sports Exchange, because you often used to like the old family as I need to watch ESPN or whatever and CNN. Well, we've changed the format back to sports, but at least this guy was prepared to go any way but loose, or most people would get intimidated. And Tony, you deserve an opportunity to grow with this, and I hope you both go out there and take full advantage of it. I need to step away on Saturdays unless I do something occasionally. But until July, I will be on that show with Tony and Eric to make sure that I have enough sufficient topics so that these guys are going to work with me. They're going to find their own guests and learn as much as you can, because after July 11th, I'm done. So you two are going to be sponges, and you're going to provide input and do everything you can to do to make Eric and Tony's show go well, and it'll be Talking Baseball. We're scheduling at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on July 11th, so stay tuned. These two guys, I'm proud of both of them, but it's about time for them to go out there and do their thing. And anybody on here, Cliff, you, Cody, and anybody else, there's opportunity to have a show at some point down the road as I begin to step away eventually down the road due to my unfortunate medical condition, which is starting to get a little bit difficult. I'm hanging in there as long as I can with activity, and I appreciate the support on our channel with all of our followers, listeners, and so forth. But I am proud to have all the people on the network with every single show. And Eric, I'm proud of you. And Tony, I'm proud of you. Now, again, my name is not Don King, but when I pair Eric and Marky on, and now I have Eric and Cliff in the second half, I'm a promoter. But the soft side of me comes back here and says, Eric and Tony. We got Tony and Eric. It's time for you to let's get ready to rumble on Saturday, July 11th. Tony and Eric and Tony will get ready to do their thing on baseball. All right, let me get some feedback real quick from Cody, Candy, and Cliff. What are your thoughts about these two dynamos working together on Saturday? I've seen Eric appear as a guest on Tony's show. Now you guys get to do it here on the weekend. Cody, some thoughts about these two guys?
No, I'm happy for him. I've worked with Tony once before, and this is the first time I've worked with Eric. But I mean, the knowledge that both these guys have is going to be great. Their chemistry is going to be fantastic, and good luck for you guys. And I'll try to tune in at 7 a.m. my time. So, congrats, guys! You guys deserve it.
Hey, depending on your Friday night, you can watch the rewatch. I can understand you not watching it live, but you can have the rewatch.
All right.
And don't worry, Tony, you get the Saturday show, but I'm still expecting you on Monday and Wednesday. This is an option. This is a perk and a benefit, but I need you on Monday and Wednesday. You're too darn funny to not come on. I need the Hollywood version on Monday, the Pittsburgh City on Wednesday. All right, Cliff, what are your thoughts about your two teammates getting their own show on Saturday?
Well, that's great. It was the first time I've worked with Eric. That was quite fun. I enjoyed that. Keep it coming. Okay, we'll be going at each other, and Tony's I've worked with him a couple times. He's always got great input, and I just know that the combination of those two guys is gonna make that podcast just keep going, keep roaring to new levels. I'm looking forward to the new things they bring that podcast to the next level.
Thank you, Cliff. And you know what, Cliff, you've done wonders by bringing the Wednesday night show to the next level coming on, and I'm proud of everything you and Marky have done. Of course, Tony, Cody, and Eric, well, what can I say? You're the future of this network, each and every one of you guys. So I appreciate everything that I got. Cody, Eric, and Tony on the same show. They're the future of this network. Candy, final thoughts about the dynamic duo of Eric and Tony?
I'm excited to watch. I've watched both of them grow on the channel so far. I mean, Eric, you've been with us longer than Tony, but you both do a really great job, and I'm happy that I get a front row seat to see you guys.
Yeah, you get to produce it and even provide comments, so she's gonna be there watching you.
I just added podcast host to my Twitter bio.
Atta boy, keep adding, man. I haven't been on there in a while. I'll get on there sooner or later. Power Grass, we appreciate you. Yeah, that last thing was not so good. I don't know where it came from, but we're glad you noticed it, and we're glad that Power Grass was in here to go out there and enforce what we already did. God bless, pal. All right, well, that does it from my end. Candy, we're going to let you close the show with how everybody get a hold of each other, and then you want one more station break. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a busy show, Sports Rap with Cody and I. Mike Santos will be on. We're definitely going to be able to entertain you, do what we got to do there. And then, of course, Fire Up will be on tomorrow night as well. Candy, take us the rest of the way, please.
So tomorrow night, are you talking hockey or soccer?
I don't know. We're on hockey.
End of the season. I get it.
No
Playoffs.
choice.
I gotcha. South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. He has a plethora of great stories in there. Go get the book. He's got a picture of him and a young Muhammad Ali, him and a young Tommy Lasorda, him and the real Rocky. Go get the book so you can see those pictures. And then you can also read all the good stories. And for those of you that like to hear and listen to audiobooks, it's also available on audiobooks. But you can actually purchase the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there's a plethora of great content, and Eric writes for us, so go check out his articles on our website. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to be a guest or have an show idea, or if you want to sponsor a show or advertise, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Last but not least, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, you need to click it, like us, and share us with all your friends and family. And then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Back to you, Scott.
All right, let's go around the horn. Cody, please let everybody know how they get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can follow us at Royally Quacked on all social media, and we go live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every Saturday. This week we'll have a special guest interview with Phil Hewitt. He is the Ducks PA announcer. So really excited to have him on, and if the Ducks lose again tomorrow, then expect a huge rant from me on Saturday, like worse than what you guys heard on here with the parting shot. So it's going to get bad. So
I'm surprised if you carry it over to next Wednesday either, but that's okay. It'll be your right to do it.
The way the Ducks are going, it could be again on next Wednesday too.
Well, don't worry. It's not like I have it any better with the Red Wings. They're laying an egg too, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm excited to have everything, and then we're gonna go to the Ducks game on Sunday for the last game, and try to get some more contacts there. So yes, check us out, and we cover all things Ducks and Kings.
Monday night, Eric will he's going to be on 108 Stitches Baseball Talk just once a month. He's going to be on this show every week, and obviously did a phenomenal job on Inside the Pixie yesterday. So Eric, let everybody know how they get all of you. Your first deck was unbelievable.
You can follow me on my X account at Sports T News, or you can check out my articles at southfloridatribune.com, where I write about all things baseball. If you don't think I like your team, I probably don't.
Beautiful, Eric. All right,
I don't like my team.
I'm sure you don't.
No,
I'm glad you don't. Quiet back there.
All right, Tony, go ahead. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, on all social media, you can find me on Talking Game 1 on YouTube. You can Tony Talking Game. I'm here Mondays, Wednesdays, and coming up is going to be Saturdays. I do my Talking Game show on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. And we do wrestling on Sundays, 2 Raw for SmackDown. So check all that out. There's a lot going on.
And he's my mentor on TikTok. I'm going to keep hitting you with that every time if you don't start remembering it.
Hey, Tony, you going to WrestleMania this year?
I do not live in the right tax bracket to go to WrestleMania.
Okay, because I'm going to be in Vegas for work during that time, so I was wondering.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for talking, Cliff. Why don't you talk a little bit more and let everybody know how they get a hold of you?
I don't. Mine's pretty simple. Cliff Neal on Facebook. Yeah, I'm old, and you can catch me here on Wednesday nights at 9, going at it, talking sports.
I'm proud of the team I've assembled on Wednesday.
Raging about the MLB realignment.
Candy and I, we joke around all the time how much we enjoy this Wednesday night show. It's one for the ages, let me tell you. Marky Bilson had so much, and Cliff and everybody, and his great core I have underneath. It's just unbelievable. I feel like having you guys on is like the fountain of youth, even though my voice is raspy. Well, there you go. There goes the voice, and there goes the show. So on behalf of Marky Bilson, Cliff Neal, Candy Eveling, Cody Smink, Eric Katz, and Bessemer City Tony, and on Monday night he'll be back to Hollywood Tony. That does it for this edition of the Sports Exchange. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Great job by my crew, and nice job in the chat room. God bless everybody. Have a great night, and we get ready for our programming tomorrow. Bye now.